Good morning or good afternoon, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to welcome you on our press conference, and by coincidence, but not only by coincidence, it is taking place on a special day, because today is the United Nations International Day of Democracy. So it is a good occasion to combine also our information on the election observation mission with the general attitude and general fight for better and functioning democracies all over the world. And this is why we are here, because we as the European Union, but also we personally, believe very strong in the democracy as the real good, let's say, functioning way how to organize states and how to organize decision findings in societies. The election observation mission of the European Union here is following the invitation, of course, of the government of Liberia. And the European Union has deployed an election observation mission to observe the general elections on the 10th of October. And we were appointed by the Vice President and High Representative of the European Commission, Josep Borrell, to do so. Also, I have to say the European Union is not our first election observation mission here in the country. We observed the election in 2005, in 2011, 17, and also we had a follow-up mission in 2021 here. So we are deeply involved and deeply and strongly working on the questions of Liberia. My press officer wants me to repeat again the request to switch your mobile phones on silent mode. This makes it better for all of us. So the deployment of this EU election observation mission is consistent with the continuous commitment and the support of reinforcing democracy, the rule of law, and also the political dialogue and peace in Liberia. And I have to say also that an EU election observation mission is following its well-established methodology, which will assess the election based on international and regional standards, and its commitment also that Liberia has ratified together with its international laws. How we do? The mission observes and analyzes the whole electoral process, including the legal framework, the electoral administration, voter and candidates registration, the campaign environment, including also the media and social media, the voting, the counting, the tabulation of the results, as well as the complaints and appeals, the process. We will stay in the country until the completion of the electoral process and give also our final report then after. Who we are? We are composed as an election observation mission out of a core team, which is 10 experts which arrived in Monrovia on the 27th of August. And last Saturday, the EU election observation mission has deployed 20 long-term observers to all 15 counties of Liberia to follow the electoral preparations, the campaign, and all the aspects of the electoral process on the ground all over the country. A week before the election day, 40 short-term observers will be additionally deployed and all throughout the country, alongside a delegation of members of the European Parliament and around 20 diplomats, with part of them also we welcome here, from the EU member states accredited in Liberia will be part of the observer mission. This means that the election observers from the EU come from all 27 member states of the European Union, as well as Canada and Norway, and bring together the number of observers on the election day about around 100 observers, which will be around in the country. Let me also underline, it is not an individual, let's say, observation. We as an EU observer mission, we are bound by a code of conduct which requires strict neutrality, non-interference in the process. As the word observer already indicates, we are observing and taking note of the process. During my stay here this week in the country, and I have to say it's my first time in Liberia, but I'm very happy also to be here in Monrovia and to get in close touch, not only reading files, but also to experience on the ground the situation. I met with the chairperson and the commissioners of the National Election Commission, the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, the Minister of Justice, Associate Justices of the Supreme Court, candidates in the presidential race, as well as the representatives of civil society and media. And after these meetings now in Monrovia this week, I observed the state of the preparations of the institutions in charge of the election, as well as the candidates and the political party. And maybe it is important to underline also that our mission is welcome by all the stakeholders who took time to meet us here in the capital and in all the countries where we are present. Our interlocutors showed a high level of openness while talking to us. And I want to thank all those also for this, and I'm sure this will continue through the whole process. The general elections, which we are scheduled for the 10th of October 2023, represent a significant test for the democratic consolidations of Liberia. And I believe in this this is important for the European Union to accompany the Liberian people in this process. I trust that the state authorities, the political parties, and all individual candidates will play also their part in promoting a credible, peaceful, transparent, and inclusive electoral process. And also, you, the representatives of the media, have a responsibility in this election to cover the campaign in an accurate and in a balanced way, and also, of course, cover also the work of the European Union Electoral Mission. Finally, we will publish our initial finding in a so-called preliminary statement, which will present it in a press conference shortly after the election day, and this will include all the observation which all our observers do on the ground. This means these 100 observers will visit a lot of polling stations, remain there, take note of their findings, and this will enter into the preliminary statement as well as, of course, what we observed and were looking at before. But this is not enough. We will also be here after the election, and this means a final report with concrete recommendations also to enhance the future electoral process will be presented at a later stage, probably between 6 weeks and 2 months after the election. And I have to say also finally, as we working very intensively also on this final report with a lot of recommendations, it's not up to us to say and to implement this recommendation, but it is a tool which we provide to the Liberian society as such, like also all our observation to be, let's say, taken as a service and to be used by the political, of course, structures which at the end have to implement and to work with this. For all this, I want to thank you for your attention. I think it is very good. It's showing also the impact which we try to deliver, that this is received by you. And as I said before, we felt very welcomed here in the country, and we have also the feeling that these elections are extremely important for each individual citizens, where we also want to contribute with our mission.
Thank you, Chief Observer Andreas Schieder.